It must have been a slow news week because the New York Times ran a piece about Lake City ammo and found that criminals and gun owners sometimes use the same ammo. Apparently, this is a big revelation, and of course, the next step is to ban the production and sale of deadly assault ammo, the favorite ammo of criminals, MAGA rioters, and anti-government extremists. 1010 would recommend. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. For some reason, a guy who usually covers Japan over at the New York Times decided to do a deep investigation into Lake City ammo, where he combed through mountains of police records and crime reports to see if he could tie mass shootings and other crimes to one of the biggest ammo plants in the country. The plant produces about 1.4 billion rounds a year. They are the biggest producer of military ammo, and commercial production outpaces that by about 2 to 1. With that much share of the ammo market, it's inevitable that some rounds will show up at crime scenes, just the way sometimes drunk driving accidents involve Ford cars or Bud Light. But we're not banning those anytime soon. So naturally, according to the New York Times and every outlet that has picked this story up since, Lake City Ammo is a merchant of death and must be shut down. And no, the writer's name isn't Karen. Before I get into the rest of this report, today's video is brought to you by Blackout Coffee Company. They are a big supporter of the channel and the Second Amendment, and it is even more welcome today because Mama was staying up way too late writing videos last night. They have great coffee, everything is roasted fresh to order, and some of their roasts even help out your favorite gun rights groups directly. So to check them out and get your coffee on, go to blackoutcoffee.com/libertydoll. So 11 of the first 13 paragraphs of this article are a detailed account of all the mass shootings, murders, and gang crimes that just so happened to use Lake City ammo in the crime. The problem, says the Times, is that it's a government plant run by private contractors that don't have any public accountability as to how or where that ammo is sold. As if Lake City is setting up shop in back alleys and hourly motel rooms across the nation. Because that's just way bigger profit margins. Or something. The Times says that the people who run the plant are terrified that outlets like the Times will put together the connection and realize that Lake City makes and sells military-grade ammo to criminals. On purpose. The Times goes so far as to accuse the government of subsidizing violence by allowing Lake City to make commercial ammo. The tagline says all you need to know. In recent years, the factory has also pumped billions of rounds of military-grade ammunition into the commercial market, an investigation by the New York Times found, breathlessly, leaving the LC's signature scattered across crime scenes, including the sites of some of the nation's most heinous mass shootings. And factories make things and the sky is blue tonight at 11. The logical next step in New York Times land is to shut down ammo manufacturers. It's about the only thing that they have left to try because nothing else they've done is working. They are grasping at straws here. Something's got to work out for them eventually, right? And they are not the only ones thinking it. I have seen a few headlines lately of politicians floating the idea of banning ammo sales in their jurisdictions since they can't stop people from buying guns. The Times was also the first outlet to blame mass shootings on credit cards and banks not tracking gun purchases, and look what happened there. So mark my words, this is not the end that we're going to hear about ammo companies financing death. The story lists out 12 mass shootings that ended up with some Lake City casings in evidence. They even imply that it was used in the shootings for which the police didn't hand over the information. Which is terrible journalism and intellectually dishonest, even as the Times dedicates one entire sentence to recognizing that most of the ammo sold commercially goes to hunters and farmers and hobbyists and other law-abiding citizens. They don't mention law enforcement because who can tell on which day whether they support them or not? We want them to stop shootings. We don't want them to stop shootings. They don't even show up to shootings. Who even knows? Mentioning law enforcement at all will probably kind of force them to bring up the failures of law enforcement in some of these more recent big events, and that's someplace the New York Times doesn't even want to go, because that would be more proof that all the current laws that places like New York have on the books don't do crap. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. The Times goes out of its way to use sources from Everytown for gun safety and then cites 4 anonymous plant managers who allegedly back up the theory that Lake City bears responsibility for all the quote-unquote high-profile shootings in the news, which seems suspect because, I mean, maybe they found some employees to back up their hit piece, but realistically, how many plant managers could there be? I mean, wouldn't it be pretty easy to sniff these people out and figure out who they are, and then wouldn't that then be jeopardizing their jobs? Saying this kind of thing to the New York Times? I mean, I don't know what they pay over there at Lake City Ammo, but in this economy, isn't it better than no job at all? I mean, it's not like they're big whistleblowers because there's no whistle to blow. The plant makes ammo, the plant sells ammo to FFLs and sporting stores, and sometimes that ammo ends up in the wrong hands. Eventually, down the line, ATF, I'm looking at you. But there is one big positive takeaway here, I promise. The takeaway is that this is the same plant that there had been rumors about closing and ending commercial production. I saw lots of headlines about it all over YouTube. People were scared and it was a big deal. But according to the Times, both the White House and the DoD said that there are absolutely no plans to end commercial production at Lake City. Apparently, the plant being used for commercial production helps them switch over more quickly to military production when and if they need it, and stopping the commercial production would just be bad for the military. I don't know, some kind of government stuff. Nevertheless, don't be shocked if there's a new demand for public accountability from ammo makers and a new push to make it that much harder to buy ammo. Maybe a couple of months, maybe a couple of years, but it seems like the New York Times is always one of the first ones to come up with these ideas, and there's always someone out there that just takes it and runs with it. Man, but I do love me a good New York Times hit piece. Well, I hope that you guys can at least appreciate the little light at the end of the tunnel with that one. You guys know the whole drill for all of the algorithm things to help out the channel. And also, I've been getting some comments lately asking about Liberty Toddler. If you would like to check out her antics and mine, you can head on over to my second channel, The Liberty Homestead, which I will link down in the description. She is helping me with all kinds of gardening and homesteading and canning goodness over there. And also, YouTube likes those videos better, so every view counts. Anyways, that is it for this video, guys. As always, thanks for tuning in, and happy shooting.